John Howard, it seems that Susan Lee, the Liberal leader, actually did tell the Nationals that if she was given more time, the Liberals could probably agree to all their 4 demands, including nuclear power. Should the Nationals have agreed to give them that time rather than pull the pin this quickly?
Well, Andrew, I won't pretend that I know the detail of all of the discussions between the two of them, so I think I'll take a bit of a pass on that question. I will say this, though, that my experience as a Liberal leader and as a coalition Prime Minister is that if you have a strong coalition and plenty of trust, you can resolve any policy differences. You never get everything you want. I mean, I used to say to some of my Liberal colleagues who complained that I was being a bit generous to the National Party, I say, well, in a partnership, the numerically smaller part, and that's always the National Party, is entitled to have some wins. And that's the nature of the political game.
I just wonder if this could be not as disastrous as some people are saying, provided there is a healing relatively soon, given this, that the Nationals have given the Liberals an ultimatum, an important line, stick with nuclear in particular, or else there is no deal, there can be no deal. And if the Liberals do that, I think they'll have the right policy then, but then there can be a coming together after that. But if the Liberals went ahead and said no to nuclear, there couldn't be.
Well, Andrew, I'm in furious agreement with you about nuclear power. I think it's part of the ultimate solution. And I hope fervently that the Liberal Party sticks completely to its nuclear policy. I mean, that doesn't mean to say you can't have a nuance here and there, but fundamentally it's part of the long-term solution. The other issues, well, I'm a bit of a sceptic about net zero, but I don't have a vote in these things anymore, and I haven't been in office for a long time. But once again, these are things best thrashed out in the framework of a coalition. If you go your separate ways because of policy differences, which in the end are not impossible to solve, you will only harden your different views, and that will make the ultimate coming together more difficult and more challenging.
If this coalition is not fixed, and relatively soon, what do you expect to happen to the Liberals, particularly in an election?
Well, we've just had an election. So when I was elected in 96, when the coalition won in 96, we had a huge majority. And interestingly, in the context of the current debate, the Liberal Party could have governed in its own right. And some, not many, but some Liberals urged that happen. And I said no. I said I'd campaigned with Tim Fischer as a coalition, and we were going to stick to it. And what was more, I knew that at the next election, we wouldn't be able to govern in our own right, and we'd need the support of the Nationals. And that, of course, proved to be the case, because we lost a lot of seats in 98 because we were proposing a big tax plan, and that was always controversial. But interestingly enough, within a few weeks of that decision of mine to renew the coalition, we had the Port Arthur gun disaster, terrible murder of 35 people. And we introduced those radical gun laws. Now, they were tough laws for a lot of National Party supporters, very tough. The leaders of the National Party, Tim Fischer, John Anderson, Rob Borbidge, the Premier of Queensland, they stuck by the coalition. In a sense, they repaid the loyalty they'd been shown at the time of the election. And it drove home to me that a coalition works best when there's a spirit of give and take. And I hope that the present leadership of the two parties will adopt the same attitude.
John Howard, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.